call this meeting to order at 5:53.
Thank you. That's what I want.
Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes from our last meeting on July 17th? I
Yes.
sent them out to you in an email. Any corrections or changes or updates to the minutes?
No.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Second.
So moved.
Second. Yeah.
Somebody's gonna go first before you can second, just FYI.
As you're confused. You're starting it, and then someone else needs to actually start it.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, hey, I don't know. I don't know how this works. All's in favor? Opposed? Great, awesome, carries. So next on the agenda is we have some mail here. If anybody, there's a newsletter that comes out. If anyone would actually like to take this and read it, you're more than welcome to. I know Marilyn used to read it because, of course, she used to work at the state. So I get email updates from them regularly. You can also get email updates from them from the Department of Revenue. So a lot of that stuff I'm sure I've already seen. But if anyone would like to take those, please feel free.
I think I'll go up for the email updates.
If there's anything super important, I will try to remember to include all of you. This is probably not good that we're updating here while I'm trying to do other stuff. There we go. The next thing, I had spoken to Barbara about perhaps coming in and spending some time with us, because I mentioned we have a couple of new members this year, and I know, Eric and I are still relatively new. Lisa's the veteran here, but
I don't know anything. No.
so I thought it might be a good idea for Barbara to come in and spend half an hour, 45 minutes or so, and just kind of give us an overview of how it all works and such. So with your permission, I guess I'll go ahead and schedule that with her for our next meeting. I didn't want to bring her in today in case there was something really pressing that we had to discuss, but I just think it'll be a good kind of get us all grounded on how the process works. So I was thinking maybe like 3 weeks from this week. Are you looking at a calendar?
I am.
Okay. My favor to you would be to do it on a day other than a Monday, if that's possible. Mondays are filling up for me quickly, so if we could do a Tuesday. I know, Steve. I know you're flexible. I get it. If we could do a Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't think it matters, because the other departments aren't going to have to sit in. I mean, they certainly can come, but the reason we meet on Mondays is if we have to discuss anything with the board of selectmen or something. So does the 24th, 23rd?
24th is a Tuesday, 25th is the Wednesday.
Either of those days look good or better for anybody? Do you know offhand? Do you care?
It should be fine.
Okay, cool. I should probably check my own calendar.
24th, I cannot do.
Okay.
But 25th is fine.
Gee, I got both days open.
25th should be fine.
How lucky of us.
I haven't worked in years.
All right, I will try to set that up with Barbara for
Are
October
Wednesdays
25th.
better up here than what nights are they open?
Well, we have keys, so we can
Yeah, right,
we
but-
can come in
I
anytime
know,
we want.
yeah.
I mean, traditionally we meet on Mondays in case we have to
Talk to the
talk to the
Yeah, well, the
selectmen.
department. but-
Yeah.
But I mean, for Barbara, is she here on Wednesday?
She's made herself pretty. She's
Yeah.
very flexible, as long as we give her enough notice. So I'm sure she'll be fine. Hopefully, she'll be fine with it. So, all right, good. So we'll shoot for that on October 25th. What else did I have to do?
What time do you think?
Probably 6 o'clock. Or so.
6 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay, so on the screen is a copy of last year's final budget that we voted at town meeting. So we're not going to look at this, line by line or anything, but the reason it's up there is because last year at about this time we had made some changes to this form to make our lives a little bit easier. We added some salary lines, we consolidated some other lines, equipment lines and maintenance lines and things like that. They were kind of spread out all over the place. So within each subsection, we tried to combine all those things wherever possible. So I know Steve and Catherine, you may not be able to weigh in on this too much, but Eric and Lisa, is there anything that comes to mind that we had discussed last year when we were going through the process that we thought, I didn't make it.
Salary lines now.
We
too,
have
right?
separate salary lines so we can better track salary expenses for each department, which I think was our big reason for
Right.
making the changes. And you know, new, you know, like the new fire department clerk is in there, so and police department clerk is in there. So we added some separate lines in there as well. Town clerk. And we have the town administrator, which that position is on. I mean, the process is ongoing. It's not filled yet, but so we've got all those things in place already. So is there anything that you can think of? I didn't have anything in my notes that we had decided
I
last
don't
year.
think so.
Okay. Eric, anything?
I think
Okay.
we got it all.
All right, cool. So then we'll probably just proceed with this as it is now, and we'll just continue on. What we do is we take this spreadsheet, we add a column, all the stuff from under the recommended and approved lines, it all just slides one column over to the left basically, and we start fresh. So you'll see that. I don't know if I'll have it done by next time or...
And then that fly drops off.
Right, 14 will drop off, exactly. Yep, exactly. So the next part of the puzzle is we have request forms that we send out to each department, and we do that around end of December, mid-December, end of December. We give the department heads 4 to 6 weeks to get back to us with their projected expenses for the next fiscal year, starting July 1. So again, this is a form that, I mean, I've only been on the committee a couple of years, but I know this is the form that's been used, I think, right along for at least a few years now. So based on the previous document, these forms will automatically print out, and it lists the department at the top there, it lists the line number up in the top right corner, and it gives them what their amount as approved for the current fiscal year. So again, same idea as the budget document. 16 will drop off, 17 will move over, 18 will move over, and the current approved will go in there, and then each department fills out a request form just like this. So we get these back from each department usually around the 1st of February, and then we set up our individual meetings. So it's a pretty simple form, pretty straightforward form. Any need or thoughts on keeping it, changing it? It seems to work. I don't see any reason to change it personally, but...
And we're going the same way to ask for level funded sheets with extras on a separate sheet?
Yes, that's a good point. Typically we ask for level service.
A level service.
Requests for the current year, and if they have any sort of an unusual request or any sort of a capital has to be submitted on a separate form anyway, but any sort of an unusual over and above request, whether they want to add a new position or purchase a new piece of equipment that came up as an emergency need or something like that, they have to submit it as a separate request. But other than that, they're expected to do a level service request. Some of these are pretty involved depending on the department.
Police gives us usually a
Yeah.
different type. They don't specifically fill those out, but he gives us a really in-depth
Yeah.
budget.
So you can see it spells it out right there, level service. As opposed to level funding. Everyone understand the difference? Right.
To maintain the same level of service. I
Right,
suppose.
right. As opposed to,
Spending the
you
same
get to
amount of money.
spend the same amount of money as this year. Figure it out yourself. So we do ask for level services. Okay. Great, so then if there's no recommendation to change, we will just continue on with the same. Come on, get out of there. We'll just continue on with the same forms that we've used before. As part of that process, we have each member of this committee serves as a liaison with the boards and committees of the town. So we kind of divide it up. There's no real, magic to it. You can kind of volunteer for whatever committee seems to interest you. We'll just go down the list. Essentially, you when we send out the budget overview letter to each department with the budget request form that we just talked about, there will be a list that'll say Steve Lewis is the representative for the finance committee for such and such departments. And it just lists. So if they have a question on the process, they will contact you individually to ask. Personally, I don't think I've ever really had there's not a ton of
There's a
involvement.
couple
So
of
don't get nervous.
Fire department
Don't get
is a
nervous.
little bit.
Yeah, sometimes we have to chase them down for numbers just to remind them of the appointment that's coming up, that sort of thing. If they haven't got the request back to us, when by the deadline, you might have to email the department head and say, hey, can you please get us your data? Other than that, it's really not a lot of heavy lifting. So just keep that in mind as we go through the list.
Could you put me down for library and town clerk? I've done library every year. I want to keep the library.
All right, library.
Town clerk.
I suppose I should go on fire because I have a history there. $30 years fire, 10 years EMS.
Okay, we have treasurer collector.
I'll take that one.
Okay,
Assessors, I was served there.
accountant.
Sure,
Why not?
why not?
Police.
Did you say you do assessor too? Steve?
Yeah. Oh, someone else want that?
No. Did you put him down?
Yeah, I did.
That?
Yeah, I got assessors. Yeah. Catherine's gonna do accountant. Steve has fire. I'll do police because I've done them before.
Okay.
I'll do building. I've done them before.
Police, building.
I know we're going too fast for you.
Nope, I think I got them all so far.
Okay, cool. Board of Selectmen.
I can do that.
Okay. School. This is the Dennett School, elementary school.
I got a lot of free time
Yeah?
if I need
You
it.
sure?
Yeah.
All right.
My wife is a school teacher.
Okay.
Not mine.
She seems like she'd be a school teacher.
She was, yeah.
Highway, cemetery. I can.
I'll do that
All
one.
right. You did that last year, didn't
Potentially.
you? Board of Health.
You can put them for me too.
Okay. Council on Aging.
They are one.
I'll take council on aging too. But they're not a lot, any of those. Board of Selectmen, school, fire, they're kind of big ones.
Silver Lake Regional School District. I'm hoping that the town administrator will do that one for us. The newly hired town administrator.
Good. No, really. That
No,
would-
I agree.
that would be good.
I think that's.
I mean, we should there are certain meetings that it's nice for finance committee to make a presence.
Yes.
At some of their budget meetings, especially if there's controversial budgets.
Yeah.
But that would be great if we could get the town administrator to jump in here a little bit.
Veterans.
Sure.
All right. Tell you what. You've got a lot. I'll trade. I'll give you veterans. I'll take fire.
All right.
Okay. Because I've done them for a couple of years too. So.
Yeah.
All right. So just to recap. Library is Lisa. Treasurer collector is Eric. Steve has the assessors. Catherine has the accountant. I've got fire, police, and building. Catherine has Board of Selectmen. Steve has elementary school. We're going to punt on Silver Lake Regional School District. Lisa has clerk. Eric has highway, cemetery. Lisa has Board of Health and Council on Aging. Steve has veterans. Did you get all those?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And again, even the big ones like the Board of Selectmen, there really isn't a lot to do with them as far as this, you know.
Yeah, no, there really
We'll
isn't.
make appointments with them if we need to speak to them as a committee or something, and, you know, and
Right.
I'm hoping that the town administrator, you won't have a problem hunting them down for budget numbers.
Well, and just to give you an update on that, how that is proceeding, the committee, it's not the search committee, but it's the review committee, I guess, yeah. So the selectmen hired a firm to screen the candidates. There were 35 or 40 applicants, so, you know,
Wow.
good deal of number of applicants for the position, which is great. And then they were culled down by the search firm, and the top, I don't know, 10 or so were presented to a committee of which I'm a member. Susan's also a member, Marilyn's a member,
Great.
Chief Dillon is a member, Barbara is a member. Who am I forgetting? Alan from
Selectmen.
Wage and Personnel. This is
No
this is
select people.
prior to Selectmen.
Okay.
Kitty?
Kitty, yes, yes, Kitty's on there, right.
She knows
exactly.
everything going on right
Yes,
now,
and I think I'm forgetting somebody, and I apologize for that. Anyway, there's about 7 of us on this pre-screening committee. So we reviewed the applications. We are going to do the first round of interviews the next 2 days. So we've narrowed it down to 6 candidates. We're meeting with 3 of them tomorrow, 3 of them on Wednesday. And from that, we hope to narrow it down further to like 3 finalists. They will be presented to the Board of Selectmen. So that's why the Selectmen are not involved yet. You know, they don't want to be influenced one way or the other. So,
Right, okay.
so we're narrowing the field down to the top 3, and they'll be presented to the Board of Selectmen for final interviews. I guess probably next week or the week after, and hopefully, you know, depending on timing, of course, we'll have somebody on board by, you know, mid-November or so. So by the time we get around to really getting into budget preparations, hopefully we'll have some help with this stuff. So that's all very good news. Some of the folks have more financial experience than others. Some of them come more from a procurement side. Some of them come more from the HR side of things, so you know, kind of depends on how things play out. But it is definitely part of the job description to work with us in preparing the budget and following up on things. And one of the specific criteria listed is you know, regional experience, so regional school committees, regional planning departments, and that sort of thing. So great.
Cool. Thank you for working on that.
Yeah. All my free time. What else did I have on there? Anything?
I think that's it.
Cool. I really don't think we have. Is there anything else that we're not doing?
And that's still a little early, you know, for
Yeah.
most things. If we talk to Barbara in 3 weeks, that's great.
Yeah.
And then,
And she'll go over last year's budget, and she'll explain how it all works, and she'll give us. Usually about this time of year, she sort of has a rough idea of what things are going to look like for next year, depending on Department of Revenue stuff. So she'll probably have some of that to discuss with us, some very preliminary stuff. But. So there's really nothing else going on, right?
I don't think so. No, it's slow. You know,
I know.
it's
I just feel like
slow,
there
and then,
should be something else to do, but
you know, right through up till January, and then after January it starts to get busy. But
okay.
I know, in fact, Miss Joyce Teen Joyce saw me come in, and she was like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, just preliminary meeting.
Yeah,
and
yeah, I know. Well, we didn't have one last month, so I kind of feel like
No,
we
yeah,
needed
this
one
was
just to
good.
kind of
Yeah.
touch base. All right, good. So we'll plan the meeting with Barbara on October 25th, and then we'll probably look after that to kind of get into a rhythm of maybe the 2nd or 3rd Monday of the month, just so you can sort of plan it out. And then again, you know, once January comes around, we'll probably have to meet twice a month. It's about, I guess, February we really get in twice a month,
Right.
and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah.
So,
When we're meeting with departments, it might even be 3 times.
Right.
The most we ever meet is 3 times a month.
right.
but
Yeah, we do
had
those,
those department meetings.
yeah,
that-
3 weeks in a row kind of things, knock those out. So, is there anything that anyone else has? Questions, comments, bills that need to be paid? No?
I haven't bought anything.
All right, well,
Good.
then
No
I'll
reserve.
I'll
transfer
entertain a
funds.
motion
And I'm giving you.
to adjourn the meeting.
Yeah, go for it.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Got a
Thank you.
precedent.